Welcome students to the topic of demand and supply by Stewart's Training Consultancy. I want to joggle your memory a little bit, not too far back, just about CXC level economics. So from the cartoon, you can see that the cartoon says demand and supply go hand in hand. I got it. Since less mangoes are available, which is supply, but mango eaters are more, that is why the Alfonso mangoes are so expensive, which causes, of course, the high price in mangoes. This illustration is just for you to recollect what this lesson will be about in terms of demand, supply, and the relationship that they both have with price. In the following slides, we will delve into the definitions and their relationship as it relates to price. So at the end of this class, students must be able to define demand and supply, explain the concepts of demand and supply, list the determinants of demand and supply, and define market equilibrium. So, what is demand? What do you think about when you hear the word demand? What is your demand for mangoes, for example? Demand. Demand is the willingness and ability to pay for a commodity at each and every price over a given period of time, subject to all else being constant. It is the desire to own something and the ability to pay for it. In other words, demand refers to the quantity of a commodity which a consumer or household is willing to buy from the market at a particular price during a particular period of time. What is this? This is a demand curve. This diagram is a representation between demand and price. This diagram is downward sloping, which means as price decreases, demand therefore increases. Therefore, the demand curve shows an indirect relationship between price and demand. Now think of something that can have this effect. Example, using the same example from before, mangoes. If the price of mangoes increases, then of course the demand for the mangoes will therefore decrease because the price is now high. From the definition given, think of some factors that are influenced by demand. Now, there are many factors which I will delve into later on, but take 2 minutes, pause the video, and think of some of these factors that can influence demand. Some of these factors are price of the good, income of the consumer, price of related goods, other factors like distribution of income, population growth, etc., and lastly, taste and preferences of the consumer. Full price of the commodity. So, if the price is high, demand will be low. Using the example of mangoes, of course, if the price of mangoes is high, demand for the said mangoes will be low. Consumers would therefore prefer to purchase large quantities when the price is low as opposed to when the price is high. So when the price of mangoes decrease, there will be an increase in demand. Complements. A good or service that is used in conjunction with another good or service. For instance, red coloring. So if the price of red coloring increases, then the demand for mangoes to make red mango will of course decrease. Substitutes. Substitute goods are goods which may replace each other in use or consumption. Changes in price motivate consumers to buy relatively cheaper goods substitutes. If a substitute price decreases, people will purchase more of the substitute. If it goes up, consumers will move away from the substitute. Therefore, when the price goes up for mangoes, for example, consumers' demand for bananas may increase. Consumer income. Now, when we say consumer income or wealth, we talk about salary. If a consumer income remains the same and there's an increase in price, then demand for that product will decrease because the purchasing power would have decreased because the salary for that consumer would have remained the same. Consumer taste or need. Now, consumer taste relates to your likes or your dislikes. Of course, if you like something, then demand will be high. If you dislike something, then of course, demand will be low. Let's do another activity. How about you think of some products and list it that you have seen in the market that has an inverse relationship to demand. Now remember, an inverse relationship means if price increases, then demand for that product will decrease. Supply. Supply is the willingness and ability to sell a commodity at each and every price over a given period of time, subject to all else being constant. This curve looks familiar, but it looks like it's another direction. This is the supply curve, and the supply curve has a direct relationship between supply and price. Therefore, we say if price increase, supply will increase. The slope is therefore upward sloping, showing the relationship between price and supply, that as price increase, supply will also increase. Supply for mangoes. So when the price goes up for mangoes, the quantity produced for mangoes will increase. Okay, what can you think about with regards to some determinants of supply? So some factors that may cause the supply curve to move or shift, as the case might be. Just think about some of these. We will of course go through it. But just take 2 minutes, pause the video, and think of some determinants of supply. Firstly, one determinant of supply is the prices of the factors of production, which is the raw materials. So what are the prices for the raw materials? So for example, mangoes. We look at tree, if there's a rainy season or dry season. It will depend on the influx of mangoes at that time period. So if there's an increase in price of mangoes due to its shortage, for instance, then supply of mangoes will therefore decrease. State of technology. If, for instance, there's a new advanced mango making machine, like the illustration here in China by ChinaMachine.com. If there's an influx, if there's a new machine, a new mango making machine, then of course the supply of mangoes will increase, because then now you can produce more at probably a cheaper price. Another determinant of supply is expectations. So if the producer thinks that they can make more on a product later on, they'll therefore hold back on supply now and make more later. Now, this diagram shows the equilibrium using supply and demand curve. So when the amount demanded is equal to the amount supplied, this point here, then equilibrium is achieved, known as the market equilibrium. Right? So this is also where quantity is equal to the price. In conclusion, you would have learned to define demand and supply and of course explain the concepts of demand and supply. I want to thank you for watching, and if there's any further information that you would like to get, you can visit the Economics Network at this website. Just click the link and you will get onto it. As a recap activity, jot down your thoughts as to the importance of these concepts to an organization of your choice. So try to understanding how demand and price work and how supply and price works in your organization. Thank you.